Boom. We are live, baby. Live. Welcome to Pub Sports Radio, NCAA Net Profit. It is Friday, February 25th, Max. March is on the horizon. We are almost there. Obviously, tomorrow will be a massive, massive day. But first, we always get our nice little Friday card here that we pick out, especially in the one or two games, especially that usually I do, that I really like, and overall have been pretty good to me on Fridays. But before we jump into some of the line moves and get into the games, how was your night last night? How are you doing today? What the hell's going on, my brother?
Well, I'm just happy that I can come on the show after a rare win. So I'm just happy about that. So hopefully it lasts for another hopefully it lasts for another 51 minutes and then I'd be good. But last night was heavy volume and it was not easy sledding. There were some real tricky games.
Yeah.
I felt it was Gus trying to get his revenge. He literally sent me a freaking message saying, "Do you want me to limit you for the rest of your night?" And that's because I was literally losing live bet after live bet. Well, this fucking inspired the fuck out of me, and I took it to him, and I freaking took it to him with the Hawaii Cal Poly game. So in the end, he ended up owing me money, and he can suck it. And his girlfriend is going to bring an envelope today, even though we just had a snowstorm here in Toronto. So fuck Gus. It's a fucking movement. I want us all to be on his book and all to take his money.
Snowstorm or not, envelope will be delivered. Right, Max, on Friday?
Absolutely. I don't like that fucking wider shit, that e-transfer shit. I want the $100 bills in an envelope. The government can't track it. No one can prove that I got the money. That's the way I like it.
Excellent. Yeah, it was a roller coaster of a day. As much as a good win of Murray State was, that we're just talking about, Max, like Colorado shitting the bed at home, playing so well, and usually takes care of Arizona State. There was just so many of those type games yesterday, so it was just a roller coaster for me. I had some bad losses, but on the show, what we talked about was good. Sam Houston had a good second half. The game ended up tight, and Montana and Southern Utah got to that over. Beautiful over there in the second half. Yeah, so it was good. I mean, at least that part of it was good. Some of the other day, yeah, Murray State was good. Yeah, go.
Conor, you got to enjoy that Southern Utah comeback. Come on.
That was phenomenal.
That was like a top 10 comeback of the year. They just freaking literally smacked him in the mouth with a fucking rock. It's like, yo, we're taking this shit back and forth while you're knocked out on the court.
Just down 44, I think 28 at half, and just blow the doors down. Fucking 54-30. I think they outscored them in the second half. I love to see it. Yeah, it was great. Portland State was great. That got over. Tough one was, I wasn't crazy about it. I ended up not playing it. Was that Oral Roberts, real quick before we get in the line movement. That was tough for people who've had Oral Roberts up at halftime. Man, what a game. Obviously goes out just scoring tons, and they lose by 4. If you had that was tough there. But crazy games all the way around. It's just, man, parity and first half to second half, and just crazy right now. College basketball. So sometimes you got to hang tight. Fasten your seatbelt. Yeah.
That's why I say approach it within 2 games within 1, because that's how these kids approach it. They get all fucking pump their chest out because they're thumping someone, and then they're like, shit, I'm the cuck in the corner of the room jerking off while some other dude's fucking my girl. Like, yo, that's what it comes down to. So I love college basketball as much as it fucking kicks my ass at times. It's still my favorite sport.
It definitely is thrilling, and this time of year, we're about to get to conference tournaments. I love just as much, and then obviously the big dance, but yeah, it's just as much fun.
Tournaments are better.
Yeah, are excellent. I love them. All right, Max, before we get to your line movement, let me give you a quick shout out real quick. the best chat in the goddamn game here at Pub Sports Radio. Hit the motherfucking like button, as we like to say. Real deal prime, the grinder, selling heat pumps. Get it, my guy. Polly Walnuts, what's up, my guy? T-Mac, what's going down? Bart Schillenberg, Nathan Cerna, Ron Lofton, Brian, TCATL, CT Bays, good to see you. Jefferson C, Mike Wilkerson, Jake Burns, Okie, Rar Murray, AJ in, Rodney Barton. Everyone's in here. I forgot someone else. Here we go. Trenton Claxton, good to see you, my man. Jessica Bruce, Tori Coker. Shout out to everybody here. Appreciate you. Max, hit me real quick with some of the line moves on this small card before we just go right down the card from time here. We'll go right down the number too. So hit me with the line movement, side, and total.
Absolutely. We had the Akron, Ohio game go from 130.5 to as high as 133.5 right now, and I see 134 coming on. We have seen the ULL Georgia State total go up from 139.5 to as high as 141.5 right now. When I do look at another total, I have to look at one that is surprising to many, is that Northwestern and Penn State have gone from a 127 total to as high as 129.5 right now. Yes, we have seen movement in St. Peter's, Monmouth, to normal under teams, except the line has moved from 131 to 132.5. Then I do take a look at Canisius and Iona, where I expect Canisius to struggle to score the basketball and try and keep Iona under wraps too. That total's gone from 144 to as low as 141.5. Going down the board at some of the Metro Atlantic action, I definitely want to take note of the fact that Niagara is now a pick'em. And I do think that it's a real coin flip of a game where Marist and Manhattan, surprisingly, the number's gone the other way instead of gone up. 140 to as low as 138.5, and that's with Raheem Sullivan back from suspension for Marist. I think that looking at a couple of the games later, lower down on the board, we do have a point or so movement in a lot of these games, but the one game that I think that the line move matters the most is in that Iowa-Nebraska game, who was an 11.5 point favorite, now is as high as 13. That could be a real interesting freaking dilemma for whoever's betting it. And obviously with San Diego State at home, very surprised to see the total go from 125 to as high as 126.5.
Yeah, we'll see in that one. Huge number. San Diego State is laying. I like these Fridays, but when I have to start sometimes betting on, St. Peter's and Manhattan, Max, scares me a little bit.
Connor,
William and Mary did last. Just that. Let me finish. William and Mary last night. They're just rolling 7-1 ATS on the road. Everything's out bad. I just saying sometimes, some of these games, we're going to get into them, but it scares me. Go ahead.
Play the numbers, Connor, just like you do.
I did. Yeah, I had to play it. I do it again.
Sometimes you see a team like William and Mary take a dive, play a rig game, take a buyout. They'll mask it from a shell company as nil, and boom, they got rich off us getting a little freaking less rich. I don't like it. I don't like it one fucking bit. So yeah. I'll tell you, listen, don't worry about St. Peter's and Monmouth and games like that. You're rolling with freaking Maxwell Smart. Sometimes I'm smart, sometimes I'm not. But today, I will be smart.
Let's get to it. Let's get to this one. I was about to tip off here in less than 45 minutes. Akron, Ohio, Max. This one's very interesting. 7.5. I talked about Ohio just seems just be rolling here. Just about everyone in there. This total's 133.5. I'm a little interested in Akron, but I don't know if it's enough. I don't think it is. What do you like here? Akron, Ohio, total 133.5.
Yeah, I think that obviously seeing Mark Sears being limited to under double-digit points against Central Michigan in a game that they won by 20, that they won by what, 26 points? That's very strange to me. I don't like to see that kind of stuff. I think that Ohio's best when they're shooting 65, 70 field goal attempts and being able to score off their offensive rebounding. This is a solid team that's ready for a run in this tournament, and they're going to have to win it to get to March Madness because they aren't getting no at-large bid if they don't. I think that they do have the freaking good ball movement, and I think that most importantly, they're getting the best second half play. I think that while Akron may be able to keep this game close early, I just cannot go against what this Ohio team has done second half after second half after second half. Forget how they play in the first half.
Yeah.
Look at the second half as a brand new game to them, and they come out fucking with their eyes open.
Yeah, I think that might be a good look here, just to wait and in game it, and just see how maybe they do have the lead, and it might not be worth it. If they have a big lead first half, but like you talked about how good they
I've,
are in the
I've
second.
I've actually seen them expand on those leads when they're leading.
Yeah, that's no, you're right. You're exactly right. Yeah, so it just depends where the number is, like we talk about. All right, let's keep rolling here. UL Monroe, Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern's favored by 3. There's a few 3.5s out there, Max. This total's basically 135.5 across the board. What do you like here?
Yeah, I think that this is one of the rare spots where I want to bet on Georgia Southern. I think that this is a group that has disappointed me over and over again with their free throw shooting and with their 3-point shooting. However, they're just coming off such a terrible offensive performance. I don't see how they're going to be able to freaking have another one like this. Yes, it's a real ugly spot to be betting on a team that's lost this many games in a row, but it's the same thing on the other side with ULM. ULM and Georgia Southern last time combined for freaking 117 field goal attempts, but only combined for 95 points. I don't think that's going to be something that repeats itself once again. While I'm not going to jump on an over, I do think that Georgia Southern can win this game by 6 points. So I think that at this number right now, there's value still with this favorite, even though they played fucking complete under basketball versus team. Under 135.5, Georgia Southern on the spread, and it's called Cupcakes on a Friday at the strip club.
I do lean under here, Max. Georgia Southern sucks. Both these teams are
They both,
garbage.
yeah, 100%.
But bum fight. So I just like if you told me free bet or whatever, I'd maybe lay the 3 with Georgia Southern. But I'd rather not play it here. I will be off. I have good luck to you. I hope you win. No, for sure. But okay.
Maybe I'll even use it as a best bet.
Wow. Look at him. This guy's feeling it. He starts rocking a few wins. He's fucking, the blood's pumping. Nurse Mandy's fucking ready. Those tits, we're ready to roll. UL Lafayette here, Max, at Georgia State. Georgia State's favored by 6.5. This total has moved up a little bit. Talked about 141.5. I like the dog here a tad bit, but what do you like here in this one?
Yeah, I think that the number's telling me dog. 7 is very important. I think that obviously with this ULL team, they've done a really good job of going in and playing competitive under basketball against the better teams in this conference. Yes, they do have a little bit of unfinished business with this Georgia State team, but Alil Newsome, my fellow Canadian, is back in the lineup for them, and that gives them a dominant big man. While Jalen Thomas gives you good size, he doesn't necessarily give you that skill. I think that the biggest issue for this Louisiana Lafayette team is going to be how they produce at the free throw line and the fact that they may not have Jordan Brown. If you don't have Jordan Brown in the lineup, while I love Don Gee and Theo Kubwa, you just don't have that freaking complete fucking connection. So it's real tough for me to back ULL, but looking at the numbers and blocking out the teams, it's probably the right spot to get on.
Yeah, Georgia State's been pretty good at home. I mean, that's why this number is what it is. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
3-point defense will decide a lot. That's for sure. Because if Georgia State can't stop ULL from hitting threes, then from a defensive perspective, they're cooked. That's their kryptonite.
Alrighty, excellent breakdown. Let's keep rolling. Northwestern, Penn State. Penn State here, short home favorite, 1.5, 2. This total's moved up a little bit, max. Basically everywhere now at 129. I like Northwestern, but I like this Penn State team at home. I know it's now laying 1.5. That's what I lean here. What do you like, Northwestern, Penn State?
Yeah, that's the only way that I can go. I think that while I expect these guys to put up points, I do expect them to go over. I do understand why this line moved the way it did. We do get elevated scoring in the second half. And I think that when you look at how Seth Lundy and John Har and company score the basketball, the biggest question is always going to be, can you get that scoring from this Penn State backcourt? And this is why these guys came to Penn State to play in games like this at this time of year. And Northwestern, while they are definitely competent, they are very reliant on Boo Buie and Chase Audace to be able to score the basketball from the perimeter, and for Boo Buie to have a big outlier game. I don't think that he's going to be able to have one tonight against this physical backcourt that you're going to go up against. And with the way that Penn State's shooting the 3-point shot, if they can get 5 or 6 more attempts up within the course of the game with some running and some extra possessions, I think that they could freaking really blow Northwestern out of the water here.
I do too. And they have the better defense, Max. The more I've thought about this all day, I know it's 1.5. You could go, there's a few 2s, 1s even, if you're going all the way around. You could go money line if you wanted to, but I think Penn State here is the play at home a little bit. I'm leaning to. Let's keep rolling. Shout out to the chat, everyone in here. Hit that like button. Jake Kaiser, a guy up in here. Raymond Coker, good to see you. Nathan Cerna. Yeah, Dr. Mandy, for sure.
Yeah,
Roland
Dr.
G,
Mandy.
Craig, Elliot V, good to see you. Shout out to everybody in here. Let me roll back. G Martinez, good to see you. Jay Peasy up in here. Bill McHugh, Dragon Tran, Ron Crawford. What's going on, my guy? Great to see you in here. Shout out to everybody. Another Jake, one of our many Jakes. Ron Lofton. Let's keep rocking, Max. Let's keep rolling. This one's interesting game. St. Peter's at Monmouth. Monmouth's a 4-point favorite. Few 4.5s out there. This totals 131.5. A few 132s. What do we like here? St. Peter's, Monmouth.
Yeah, listen, I think that it's really dependent on the number here. And I think that with Monmouth, I think that they could win this on the first half, but I'm not sure if they're going to win this by 5 points or by 1 point. That's the real hard part about figuring out this team. Obviously, they've had some issues with their backcourt scoring from Pappas specifically, but I do think that that is going to be a thing of the past. And then with St. Peter's, I do have a love for like how physical that they play. I enjoy their physicality, but I do think that if you can get 4.5 points, that's the number that I would bet. If you get 4, then I probably look at Monmouth or I lay off the game entirely. But this is an under game, in my opinion, more than anything else. I have this game at 126.5, and that's the best way that I can play it.
I thought so too. It's a little high, I thought. Obviously, St. Peter's wants to be in this. It's got to be low scoring. I don't know if it's a full bet for me, but I lean that way strong, Max, to this under as well at this number. So, yeah, I like it as well. All right, Canisius at Iona. Iona's laying 15 here, 15.5. Totals come down, like you talked about, to 142. Does Iona cover this? Is this an easy win? Maybe Iona team total? What do you like here?
Listen, Iona didn't really give a shit about this game the last time that these guys played. It was a real close.
I was looking at that. Yeah.
So I am a little worried about it. I do think that they do get back to business. While Nelly Jr. Joseph is finally back to normal out of his slump, that gives them the versatility that they need inside and out to score the basketball. And with him being a dominant defensive player, even more so than an offensive weapon, I just think that Iona is playing their best basketball right now. It's a huge number, but I do lean towards them figuring a way to cover it. I think that with the team total, it really depends on the number. You know, I haven't really seen a lot of games where they've gone over 80 recently, and I just think that that's my big worry. With this Iona team, they have all the skill, but does Patino give a shit about routing someone? They just care about winning and not
Yeah.
getting embarrassed. So,
Yeah. I mean, could they win by 20? Of course. But if they won by freaking 9, it wouldn't shock me either here.
like
Max.
78.5 on their team total, Connor, seems like an underspot.
Yes, it
I
does
just feel
seem
dirty
high.
doing it.
The good old feeling dirty. Doing it. I like it. All right, let's keep rolling. This is an interesting spot. Two teams I've had some decent success on, Max. Manhattan, Marist here. Marist, both these teams kind of Jekyll and Hyde, like good at home, then they're horrible on the road, or they every once in a while, if they can shoot well, they'll play well on the road. Tough to nail down these two, but Marist is laying 5 here. Total 139, 139.5 basically everywhere. Do you trust Marist? The Red Foxes at home? What do you like here?
I just hate laying numbers with Marist like this.
I know.
Personally, I love the team. I just don't like the number.
Yeah, me too. I don't know if it's 5. They got to win by 6 or more. Manhattan's played better on the road. It's all if they can hit shots. Sometimes it's just Brick City, and they look horrible offensively. And then lately on the road, sometimes, if they get to the 70, if they get to 70 points, I think, Max, they not only cover this, they could win Manhattan. Can they get to 70? Like over that and win?
Sorry.
Yeah.
I think that the big thing to keep in mind is what do we see from Marist over and over again? When Marist has Ricardo Wright in the lineup, they are definitely less defensive focused and they have the potential to score more points. When he's out of the game, they can barely score 61 points. In this game tonight, their team totals in the 70s. So they are expecting a high scoring game, which leads me to believe that there could be value on that Manhattan team total of 66.5. But like you said, with such an inconsistent offense, they're going to need Jose Perez to be able to have one of those big games where he's getting to the free throw line 9 or 10 times. That's just something I can't, it's hard for me to jump on right away.
Yeah, me too. I mean, free bet, I take the points, but that's my lean there. Let's keep rolling. Niagara at Ryder. Over here, that's close. Some places I pick them, Max. Some places they're favored by 1 still. This one total was interesting to me. I leaned under a little bit. It's 133, 132.5, mostly everywhere. What do you like here, Ryder, Niagara?
I feel like both of these teams are capable of scoring 67 points in this game. I just think that one of them is going to and one of them isn't.
Okay.
I love Niagara because they've developed Noah Thomason so well this year. Greg Paulus is a coach that really doesn't get a ton of credit. And I think that his other work in progress is Tuba Traore. And at 6'11", this is a kid that can really play for Mali. Just needs to freaking get a little more disciplined. I think that with Niagara, from a physicality perspective, they can really go toe-to-toe with Ryder. They can cut off those slashing lanes to the rim. And I think that with Ryder, they can get really undisciplined and they cannot have a sense of urgency. We see it over and over again. They have opportunities to run and then they pull up. So leads me to believe that an under on their team total is more likely, and Niagara pulling out the outright win is probably the outright outcome.
Yeah, and both these teams just are hard to figure out. We just mentioned earlier, I think Ron put a Rider team. Yeah, bad luck, can't figure them out. There's a lot of these, here on Friday nights, the Niagaras and Marist and Manhattans. It's not an easy conference betting all the time, you know what I mean? Because consistency isn't always there. But let's keep rolling, Max. I'd lean under full game if I had to play there in that one. Let's go St. Louis. Good game here. Richmond. Richmond's laying 3 here most everywhere. There are the few 2.5s out there on some of the offshore books, Max. This totals 142.5. What do you think here, St. Louis, Richmond?
I'll make this really brief. I think that this is a St. Louis first half team total over 32.5 spot. The number just screams yes, 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 over, over, over.
Really?
Yes.
I get they're due for maybe an offensive breakout. This should just be a good basketball game. Richmond is at home. I don't know what these kids that have been together so long, Max, if they can get done. They are better at home, but not all the time. They seem to have played better defense as the year's gone on, and games have gone under rather than over. But in the end, they just fold. I'd like to back Richmond here. I just don't know if I can do it. Go ahead.
Let me ask you something, Connor. Do you think that this team has the same belief that they had in themselves at the beginning of the season? Look how the conference season's gone for them.
I don't know. I don't think so. I'd be leery of them a little bit tonight, like I just said. Yeah, because I think they're all just like the season should have been better. I mean, there's always the conference tournament to turn it on, but they don't have the toughness to beat VCU and some, you know what I mean? When it comes down to it. Yeah. Go ahead.
And look at St. Louis. Look at how they persevered without Javonte Perkins. Look at how they've established Yuri Collins as one of the top point guards on the Eastern Seaboard. Like, I think that St. Louis here, they're dangerous because they can freaking win in this A10 tournament. I'm not sure Richmond can. And I think that momentum really favors the Billikens here.
Yeah. Very good one. Close one. That could go either way. I don't trust Richmond. So you're right. You're just getting 3 with St. Louis, but I think they're a little tougher. Mentally tough, physically tough too. You know what I mean? Both of those. But Richmond, if they can get hot and take care of the ball, especially in the second half, they could win here and cover. So it's just a very, very difficult one a little bit for me for a value spot to bet in this game. But let's keep rolling here. We got a good one. I like a little bit. App State, Arkansas State. Arkansas State's favored by 2. This total's 133 just about everywhere, Max. I lean under, as always, a little sometimes in an App State game, and I lean there every time I see them catching points. I want to take them a little bit. What do you think here, App State, Arkansas State?
Yeah, Connor, you know how I do when it comes to App State. I'm a first half App State guy. I'm not really a believer in them full game because they miss so many free throws, but their 3-point defense is phenomenal. So those two things really freaking make them a first half bet on team for me. Listen, I love their roster. When you look at the development of Adrian Delph, he really developed into something and gave this team some freaking balls because they don't go very deep. Justin Forrest, Michael Almonte are going to have to play freaking pretty much the whole game. And then they're going to have to rely on a guy like James Lewis to be able to produce for you as that third scorer. So, when you have a guy like Delph, a guy that can be your primary, you're never in a bad spot. And I don't think that App State, at least early, will be in a bad spot tonight because their kryptonite doesn't come into play.
Yeah, if I had to bet this one, I'd look at App State here. I don't trust Arkansas State, even laying the short number. And I'd lean under, obviously. Let's keep rolling. Ivy League here, Max. Harvard, Princeton, a couple smart programs, smart teams. But Princeton, obviously, the class here, they're laying 7.5 now. Actually came down a little bit when it opened at 8. This total's right around 141.5. Everyone thinks Princeton seems to get in the 80s for the most part, high 70s, low 80s. Do they do it again here tonight with their team total? You like it over? Can Harvard score enough? Usually they do. What do you like here, Harvard Princeton?
I think that this is one of the rare spots that I'm looking at that Princeton team total under 74.5.
Under 70? Okay.
Yeah, it's a tough spot for me to pull the trigger on, but that's definitely the way that I'm leaning. I think that with Harvard, when they're a favorite, they're a tough team to bet on, but when they're a dog, they seem to come out and give you that freaking outlier performance. Obviously, Connor, I have a soft spot for this program considering the amount of Canadians that they've brought through. And with my fellow Canadian Noah Kirkwood on one side, and then my fellow Canadian Jalen Llewellyn on the other side, it does have me freaking pulling straws. And I've seen Kirkwood at his best, but I've also seen them blow big leads. I think that the values with Harvard on the line, but I think that the team total under on Princeton is the one that I'm going to pull the trigger on.
Yeah, and these are always, I think they play again in a back-to-back. I maybe get on the total of the next game, like if this one's high scoring or low scoring, and then because I was trying to find their schedule down here. I had it up pulled earlier today. They play again in just a day or two. So, yeah, everyone just thinks this gets over. Princeton seems to get there with their points. I don't know with Harvard, is this too much? When a team like Princeton, they're so great offensively, Max, I always just get a little laying points with them because just they'll give up baskets that could be like junk points that they win by 5. Do you know what I mean? So difficult spot. I think there'd be points there in this game. I just don't know if it gets there. I'm interested you're on the under there. So maybe it's a tight one, a little more low scoring than people think. Let's keep going. Coastal Carolina at Arkansas, Little Rock. Coastal's here 7.5-point favorites basically everywhere. Max's total's 137. I have nothing in this game, really. There's no way I'm going to lay it with Coastal. I don't love Little Rock either. I felt like if I had 10 here, I'd pull the trigger. What do you think about this total, 137?
Listen, I think that this is a spot that definitely can find its way over. I think that with Little Rock and Coastal Carolina, Little Rock has all to play for. Coastal Carolina really can just float in with the seedings really set in the Sun Belt. And I think that when you look at this Coastal team right now, Rudy Williams, fellow Canadian of mine from Hamilton, Ontario, is fucking with his eyes open, coming off a 30-point game that he literally carried his entire team, who is very capable. When you look at Assam Mustafa and Vince Cole and his leading 3-point shot in the Sun Belt, these guys are not pushovers, and I do think that they have a rebound type of game. I expect them to get into the 75, 76-point range. I expect this game to be high scoring, and if you were to give me a free bet on the side, I would be taking the dog here. Nikola Maričić is not a pushover. He can have a big game for this team. There's a bunch of Europeans that I'm not going to butcher their last names with, but they're not pushovers at home. I'll just say this: Coastal first half would have a lot more appeal to me than betting them full game.
Yeah, first half Coastal. Okay. Excellent. Let's keep rolling. UT Arlington at South Alabama. I like the South Alabama team. Max, but now laying 8 points, 7.5 some spots. I don't know. They've been a pretty good under team that I've taken, especially especially in conference the last, 4 or 5 weeks. But this total, I wanted it to be a little bit higher than 133, but I lean under. What do you think here? UT Arlington, South Alabama.
Yeah, listen, obviously with South Alabama, we know how good they defend and chase you off the 3-point line, really
Yeah.
make you work for those shots. And on the offensive end, their mid-range game is pretty unmatched if they want to play for pace and tempo. But often we see them walking the ball up the floor. And that's on coaching, that's on scheme. You can't do anything about that. I think that with Charles Manning and JJ Chandler running the show with Javon Franklin healthy in the lineup, it's hard not to see them being able to have a rebound situational game. Obviously this team isn't going to wow you from the 3-point line. They're definitely not going to freaking uh they're not going to keep minutes on your life with their free throw shooting, but coming off a 3-point loss against Texas State that
Mm-hmm.
realistically they should have won, I think they're routing here. I think that this is additional spread territory.
Mm. Wow. Okay. South Alabama here at home. Excellent. Excellent. Robert Murray here. Crimson, the Harvard or 8-0 ATS. Their last 8 games is a road underdog of 7 to 12.5. Good number there.
That
I
makes
just
me
mentioned
worried.
it.
That
Yeah.
makes me worried.
Yeah. I mentioned that just those weird numbers of, and then on the other side, Princeton to cover double digits. Let's keep rolling. Let's talk about Texas State. You just mentioned this is an interesting game, Max. I like Texas State, but they're 2-point favorites on the road. There's a few 1.5s, and I'm a little bummed that this total is 128.5. I wish it was a little bit higher. I lean under with these two, but what do you think here, Texas State Troy in this one?
Yeah, I'm actually leaning towards the first half over. If you can get 59, I think that would Texas State and Troy. Let's
Too
not
low, yeah.
forget, last time that these guys played, Mason Harrell and Shelby Adams weren't in the lineup. They took advantage of them and beat them 76-63 on their home court. I think that this is an actual revenge situation. I do think that regardless of Texas State having the freaking conference title wrapped up, I do think that they go in and they just freaking fuck with their eyes open. I'm impressed with the Bobcats' ability to freaking D up. I've been really impressed in this 9-game freaking winning streak for them. And I just think that they're going to have another win in them. What the hell's the point of not flexing your muscle? You're a team that doesn't shoot a lot of threes, but you do a good job of fucking shooting the ones that you do. And I just think that when you throw in Nigel Caesar, who's been a guy that's been missing from this lineup, and back into it, I just feel a lot better about how physical this team can play. Great defensively, good at the free throw line, and can really play whatever tempo the opponent dictates. I think Texas State goes in and wins it.
Yeah, you might be right. They just kind of had a bad shooting night, but that was a tough game, like you talked about with they just played South Alabama, just to try to the other day.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Low
55.
scoring game. I think they shoot it better. Maybe you're onto something that that game was so tough. Man, bricks were everywhere. I watched a little bit of it. Maybe that first half is too low and it gets over. So yeah, interesting there. Let's keep rolling. Iowa, Nebraska. This Nebraska team just sucks. They can't even cover numbers. Can they cover as 12 and a half, 13-point dogs at home? Obviously, the total is 161. It probably even gets over this. This is huge number. But what do you think here, Iowa, Nebraska?
Yeah, listen, it's a crazy number when you look at 42.5 as a first half team total for Iowa, but I'm tempted by it. I'm real tempted by
It
it.
is tempting. Yeah, I know.
When the Murray brothers both score double digits, Iowa does big fucking things. And I think that if you're on monkey knife picks, I think that the easiest thing to do is freaking do a 2-pick with Keegan Murray as freaking one of your plays. Like, I love trying to figure out what this Iowa team is going to do, Connor. However, I just think at the end of the day, there are things that you stick to. Iowa first
Exactly.
half, and you move on from it.
Yeah, and even if Nebraska plays well first half, they just seem to get the doors blown off in the second this year. You know what I mean? Like they can't cover even numbers. And man, this just it makes me I can't even take them here as a 13-point dog, which is crazy. They play zero defense. I mean, Iowa should score 85 to 90 here, and Nebraska should get at least to 75. Um, we'll see. I mean, the total's huge at 161. It just takes bad shooting here for this to go under, but how Nebraska plays zero defense, not an easy one here. All right, Max, let's get to the last game. Shout out to everyone in the chat. We got over 160 in here or more, almost 170. We only got 60 likes. Come on now. Give me a like, smash. Don't make me get Max on your ass. He will come after you, and he'll start asking you for other things. So I just want the like button hit. So if you haven't hit it for us. We appreciate you being here. And you never know. When you come to Blood Sports Radio, you might win 50 or $100 just for coming on and us breaking down games, because that's what Pub Sports Radio does. Lance LaRose, shout out to you, my man. Good to see you up in here. All right, Max, let's keep rolling. Last game of the night, San Jose State, San Diego State. San Diego State's laying 21 and a half. Low total, 126 and a half. What do you like here? Can San Jose State cover this massive number?
I would hope so, but I don't have a lot of faith in it. I'm not really looking to bet it. I think that if I'm betting anything in that game, and that's going to be a 5-minute before the game starts decision, I am going to be taking that San Diego State team total over 74 and a half. I do have them scoring 77 points in this game.
Okay, man. That means San Jose State could be ugly. This screams San Diego State wins by 20, 25, or if they're just kind of, bullshitting around, they could win by 15. You know what I mean, Max? Something like that. So it's not one that that's a shitload of points. God damn, San Jose State sucks so much. Man, they're horrible, especially on the road. Tough to take. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the goddamn like button. Thank you. We're almost at 80. Let's at least get over the Dundee.
I would personally appreciate some likes just for Conor's effort and work. He is a multi-sport capper. He fucks with his eyes open 24/7, 365. And he comes on this show and puts up with me. I think that's worth a like to begin with. Okay? Come on.
But shout out to Max. This guy is an encyclopedia of college basketball. Unreal at what you do, my guy. So I got to give a shout out back to you here on this Friday. We got a little extra time to bullshit around on a small slate. So
I actually just put out 2 bets that I made as I was doing the show on the Ohio Akron game, and you'll have to just go over to my Twitter to find out.
All right. Excellent. There he goes. He said it well. Shout out to everyone in here that's done everything. Give a word to the chat, Max, for a minute. We're going to get to 100. Give me your best bet, too, or something here while we're on here.
Yeah, listen, I think that you guys are a good audience. You guys are a good bunch of cappers. I'd like to see more trends and freaking reasons why you like your plays with your comments in the chat. And I think that when you do name your next child that you create, just make sure that you give them a good name that's going to be easy to pronounce on television for when people like us do shows about them in the future. Lastly, I will give you a play that I'm on. I won't call it a best bet because I'm not putting more money on it than the other ones. But I will say that I am on Georgia Southern -5.5 plus 125, going for the additional spread play, playing my number, not the book, and hopefully we'll be rewarded with a 6-point or more win.
Excellent. Going alt line with Georgia Southern for Max there. Shout out to everyone. Gerald Jones likes Iowa State first half -7. That could happen. This Nebraska team, I mean, holy shit. 7's not easy, but I think that could be done. And shout out to everyone. LaRara Murray getting good information out, Max, that you were just talking about. People in the chat on some of his shit that's there. Ron Crawford, he likes App State tonight. I lean them a little bit as well on that under. I had a few, Max. I'm going to stick to one. I might play one more If I do, I'll put it out. But I'm taking Penn State, and I'm going to lay the 1. There's a 1 at DraftKings. Double check if someone's out there, because I got to refresh because we've been on here forever. But if not, I'd even lay the 1.5. They beat Northwestern here at home. Better defense. They get the job done. I think they're a tougher team. Penn State here at home for me. I'm going to see if I can get that 1. If not, -1.5 doesn't bother me. I'm not even going to go money line. Fuck that. I don't do that shit. We're on them here. -1.5, baby. Shout out to the chat. Sean Murphy, Keith Wilkes Jr., Elliot V., Gerald Jones, TCATL, Jake, the mini Jakes, Burns, and again, all these guys, Lance LaRose, Jake, Rance, everybody up in here. We got a big Saturday, Max. You ready to rock and roll tomorrow?
Oh yeah. Added board, baby. Added board.
I love it. We're only 5 away from 100. Hit it here. We're all done. We got through all the games, so we'll see. I'll be on. Yeah, me and Ian will be on at 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. Max will be jumping on just after that to join us to bring all his added board and shit he's dug into tonight. But let's have a decent little Friday, Max. I always call it a little bit the nice calm before the storm. And you get to watch these games. Max, you mentioned how so many games were at, 7 Eastern or 4 my time. You just can't watch them on these. It's hard to be live betting them and to get these. The games today, you can put multiple games on and kind of see these teams a little bit more than some others because there's so less games tonight. So shout out to everybody. Have a great one. Cash big, baby, tonight. We'll see you tomorrow morning. He's a great Maxwell Smart. I'm Conor Mack. We're out of here. We be pumping. Peace.